JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 10th of November 2021. So welcome everyone, welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically JFD research page, which is also updated on a daily basis. So yep, check it out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, so the first index actually the first instrument I want to jump in, and you've seen Litecoin. I mean, I'll pick up on that one in a bit, but oh, and yes, good morning to Evo. Yep, I see you there in the chat room, and everybody, of course, good morning to everybody else who's joining in, guys. So I hope you're all having a wonderful start of Wednesday. Now, Nikkei. So, drifted lower, remained below that 29,489 zone, drifted lower, kind of came closer to that 21-day EMA, and you can see today it fell below it, and below that 21-day EMA, and kind of continued to drift lower. Yes, it's kind of looking quite bearish here, however, only in the near term, because as I mentioned to you before, that if this upside line taken from the low of the 6th of October does provide good support, then we might see a nice rebound and a push back up. So in a way, something like this could be possible here. However, don't get me wrong, I mean, we'll keep a close eye on this one, and if we do break this upside line, when we stay below it, then, well, I mean, this could open the door towards the next possible area of support, and that would be roughly between these two levels here, the 28,472 and 28,581, so approximately around there, basically around this territory here. So even we could maybe round it up and say 28,500. So approximately around here could be that next target if this short-term upside tentative, I need to specify that, upside support line breaks and we see the index staying below it. If we do rebound from this upside line, then certainly this could open the door towards the upside again. And let me just clear up this chart a little bit. I think need to adjust a few levels here. Yep, okay, so you can see that this area, this 29,267, also did the job, and kind of initially did provide some support. Then today it almost provided resistance, and yeah, we then fell below it. So I would say this way, that if we do rebound from this upside line and we climb back above this 29,267, we'll start looking at some higher levels. However, still, don't get me wrong, I mean, there could be a bunch of obstacles here that could kind of prevent the index from pushing higher. However, if you're looking for some upside to be a little bit more on the safe side, then, well, of course, the option here is to wait for a break of the current highest point of November near the 29,880, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, because such a break here would confirm a forthcoming higher high. Erica, yep, I can see you in the chat room as well. Good morning to you too. So Shanghai Composites very quickly on that one, and look at this this activity here. So we fell below the 200-day EMA and then drifted lower, even cleared that 3,477 territory I spoke about. However, this is one of those situations where I keep saying wait for that daily close, because again, this is now seen as a false breakout, meaning that well, the traders are still undecided what to do with this one. So although the sellers seem to kind of pick up the steering wheel, drive it lower, but then yep, it seems a quick switch over here. The bulls jump in, and then yep, they bring it back here closer to this 200-day EMA. So in other words, we're now kind of, it seems like we're oscillating around that 200-day EMA. So long story short, if you're kind of looking for some upside, well, to be honest, I mean, for me, unless it starts pushing somewhere back above this territory, roughly around here, it's 3,553, then yes, that's when I'm gonna aim for some slightly higher levels. But for the downside, I still need to see that daily close below that 3,477 territory in order to aim for lower levels. Erica, yes, I can do that. Yep, no problem. I'll pick it up a little bit later once I get to the pairs. Yep. So DAX, looking at this picture here, yesterday the index did pop higher and did create a new all-time high, overcoming the previous one near the 16,085 zone, and the new all-time high. Let me just probably recycle one of these lines. Always recycle, guys. There's a hidden message for you there. The new all-time high was 16,104, approximately around there. Maybe the cash index, did it a little bit higher. Let me just quickly double check that. Okay. Yes, that's actually approximately around the same level. So yeah, okay. So the cash index currently is trading at around 16,054, 55 level. So we're still kind of in this little range here. As you can see, in this little range is roughly between the 15,997 and the 85 levels. And for now, I mean, as long as it stays inside here, I'm going to take a bit of a neutral stand, to be honest, and just going to observe the price action. But if it starts popping above this 16,085 level, then I'll start aiming for the upside, and then if it clears the current all-time high, then that's where it could become even more interesting for a few more buyers. Nasdaq 100, so yeah, similar kind of story. It's still stuck in this little range here, and if we take a look at the cash index right now, the cash index is trading at around 16,222 level, so basically above this hurdle, above this 16,169 level, but below the 16,388 level. So again, for now, as long as it remains inside this little pattern, little box, if I can, let me just draw one here. So this little territory, if it stays around here for now, then yep, I'm gonna remain neutral. But if it starts clearing one of the sides here, then well, this is when we could consider the next short-term directional move. DXY dollar index, so rebounded from that 21-day EMA. I talked about this yesterday, if you remember, when I was covering DXY. I said that if given that we already kind of had a decent down move here, so in a way mission was kind of accomplished because we were aiming for the 21-day EMA initially, then what I said yesterday was that if in order to aim for lower levels, then we need to see a break of this 93.82 zone, which yep, we came closer to that level, but didn't really reach it. So and then instead we reversed back to the upside. Now in terms of the upside, now this is where probably I need to clear up the chart a little bit, and to be honest, let's start fresh. Well, one thing that I'm gonna bring back, of course, is this little hurdle right here, this 93.82. That's what I'm gonna be keeping an eye on for the downside. At the moment, it seems that we could maybe push a bit higher. However, I don't really like these patterns here like this. I mean these formations, because it's very very unclear. I would say this way, that if we do pop above yesterday's high, which is near the 94.15 level, then yes, we may aim for some higher levels. But again, some of these highs could still be like resistance barriers, which could provide some temporary provide a temporary hold up. So again, at this point, I would say if you are, like, let's say, going for something here at this point, well, have a tight stop loss, because it could change very quickly on this one here right now. Because I'm not really seeing a clear picture at the moment, unless it starts falling somewhere below this 93.82 territory. Now that's where it can become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers. Now jumping into gold, so I would say mission accomplished on this one. So although we didn't really exactly hit this 1834 level that I mentioned, we just came shy of a few points from a couple of dollars just from reaching that. And yeah, we've managed to come up closer to this area, and as I mentioned before too, that this could be that interesting area of resistance, which could provide a hold up, a temporary hold up. And so far that happened. So now we're seeing a bit of a retracement here, but I would say now at this point, if you're looking for some upside, then well, you probably follow me now. Basically, I need to see that pop above this barrier, above that 1834 zone. And let me just put this one on the chart here. This is what I'm gonna be keeping an eye on here. So let me just highlight it quickly. So in a way, I would say if you're looking for some upside, yes, wait for that pop, wait for that move above that 1834 level. For the downside, I would like to see this one actually falling all the way back below this 1800 level, and then I would consider maybe a larger correction to the downside. So I do understand that we could be missing out on this bit of territory here, but basically what could happen is we could see a bit of a slide here if this area, this 1814 zone, does provide support somehow this time. We could see a nice rebound. Maybe then the commodity could like move sideways a little bit here in between these two levels, and then kind of decide what it wants to do further. So we've seen such scenarios happening before. So again, that's why at the moment we manage, if anybody managed to capture this move here, great. I think now we need to reposition ourselves a little bit, yeah, let's see what can we do here a bit going further. I mean, going further. But at the moment, I would suggest just to kind of let's say keep an eye on it, unless it starts popping above this 1834 level. Silver, still this 208 EMA is doing his job, providing resistance. And to be honest, I'm not gonna talk about this much, because again, the same analysis remains valid, and I would rather stick to this barrier still, this 24.61 level, in order to aim for the upside. So a nice good pop above it, yep, may attract more buyers into the game. WTI oil. So look at this. I mean, nice beautiful move here to the upside, and yep, we've managed to break back above this upside line and stay above this 83.39 level. I talked about this yesterday, if you remember, and well, this opens the door now towards higher levels. But also you can see that this 84.85 level did provide some sort of a resistance, a hold up. However, if you're looking for some upside now, I would probably well, stick to actually the highest point of October near the 85.39 level, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, because a nice pop above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high. This area, all this area for me, it's a little bit tricky. I mean, we could be kind of we could retrace now a little bit, test this upside line again. If it actually provides good support one more time, then yes, a nice rebound could be possible. But again, let's not overcomplicate things here. For the downside, of course, I would like to see a break back below this upside line. Again, I will remove this upside line later on, because again, if I'll see that it's no longer, say, doing anything and not providing any support or in any way kind of carries any significance, significance anymore, then I'll remove it, and we'll just start looking at it from a different perspective. But for now, I'm just going to keep it here on the chart. And for now, I would say I'm leaning a little bit more towards the upside, but in order to get more comfortable with that idea, I need to see a push above that 85.39 level. Litecoin, so look at this explosion, guys. I mean, boom. I mean, what a nice move here on Litecoin. If you remember, I was talking about Litecoin a while ago, or last week actually, and also I talked about it the week before that. So in other words, what I was saying, that in order to aim for some higher levels, yes, a push through some of these levels would be needed. So first we got that push above that 205 territory. Then we've cleared this highest point of October near the 214.65 level, and look at this. I mean, it didn't stop there. It continued to rally and cleared the highest point of September as well, at 236.50 zone, roughly around there. So now, what can we expect from this for going further? Now, first of all, let me just mark some higher levels here. Okay, so these are the targets now. So okay, so this 262 territory is quite interesting. As you can see, yesterday the body of the daily candle kind of closed here, and today it opened, and yep, it kind of pushed further north. Now, in order to aim for some higher levels, certainly at this point, we need to see a push above yesterday's high, which is roughly around that 275.66 zone. If we clear that, then this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yeah, potentially could open the door towards that 318 territory, marked by the high of the 18th of May, and so on, so on. But of course, don't get me wrong, I mean, we might see Litecoin pushing a little bit higher here, but if it, let's say, it's Litecoin, it's not, it does occasionally these one-way traffic moves, but I mean, at some point it will stall somewhere. But again, at the moment, I think the hype is here, so, and yep, people might try to jump in on the bandwagon, and kind of could continue pushing this one higher. But there are some other cryptos you can also evaluate and check out that have not moved, because it seems like lately that they don't really follow each other very much. I mean, they just kind of or they might have lags in between, you know, the big moves, let's say. So yeah, check out some other ones as well. I believe if you've missed this one, well, you have to just kind of take it, and yeah, you missed it. So, but there's plenty of opportunities somewhere else. So yeah, but this one's quite interesting. Like I said, I'm quite curious where it's going to go further. For now, I'm going to continue aiming higher, and initially, of course, I'm aiming for that psychological 300 level. So maybe somewhere around here, and then yeah, we'll aim for that 318 level after that. Now, NZD/USD quick update, not going to spend too much time on this one, but basically yesterday I talked about this one, and I said to you that be very careful, and although this looks a bit on the looks a bit more on the positive side, still a confirmation break is needed. And for me, this is the level at 0.7218. That's what I need to see a break off in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside. Because what I said to you that yesterday, if you remember, that we might see the pair kind of moving sideways here a little bit, maybe even going back to the crossroads of these two trend lines, and then maybe deciding to reverse and push higher. However, if it starts falling back below the both of these trend lines, below the 200-day EMA, well, that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers. AUD/JPY, haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but basically, as you can see here, we are drifting lower. So after we had this nice beautiful move higher, we did retrace nicely. So in a way, everything's kind of was working out according to this Fibonacci retracement. So initially the 23.6% retracement did work out well, and then after that, yeah, we started drifting lower. We dropped below that level. So in other words, right now what I'm going to be aiming here for is actually this 50% retracement on the Fibonacci near the 82.57 level, which is roughly around that 108 EMA. So nice, beautiful kind of coinciding happening here. If we do, like I said, if we do remain below this 0.38.2% retracement, then I'll aim for that 50% retracement, and then I'll take it from there. USD CHF, very quickly on that one, so seeing a bit of a push higher. So although we violated this hurdle here, this 0.91 territory in the beginning of November, we pushed back up, and yesterday, for example, you see we had a decline, but this area did provide some support from which we are now seeing a rebound. However, don't get me wrong, I mean, this could still be seen as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling, so be very careful with that. So again, we could see this one pushing a little bit higher maybe, but if it struggles, let's say somewhere near this 0.9150, it's a zone, another slide might be possible. So in other words, something like this still could be an idea. If you're looking for some upside, I would rather stick to a push above this 0.917675 level, and then because at the same time we would pop above that level, we would pop above this downside line as well. Now, in terms of USD CAD, let me just quickly pick that one up. Just bear with me up. Let's go back to the red list, and there we go, USD CAD. So of course, we're seeing this one drifting a little bit more to the downside. Of course, that's understandable due to oil. Where's that oil? Due to oil pushing nicely higher. So the Canadian dollar is strengthening. Although, yeah, maybe DXY is also slightly on the stronger side. But here it's the the Canadian dollar outweighs a little bit the US dollar. So, however, if you can see here, I mean, of course, it's currently getting a slight hold up near this barrier that I talked about previously, this 1.2422. If it continues somehow to provide support, then we might see a nice little reversal and a push higher. However, in this case, I mean, I would still, if we're looking for some upside, then yep, I need to see a pop up of this 1.2494 level right here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side in terms of the upside. For now, again, my concern here is this little hurdle here. If we start falling below it, and stay below it, then well, we could maybe see a drift further south here. But let me just double check something here as well. Let me see if this works out or not. Well, basically there is a tentative upside line here, which is still kind of in play, but again, it's don't rely on it too much. But yeah, I mean, if we do drop below this hurdle, and yeah, we do, let's say, break this upside line and stay below it, then maybe this could open the door towards lower levels. But in this situation right now, given that it's a little bit unclear here, I would say keep your eyes on WTI oil, because that's going to be interesting to watch, because how this pair will react to it. So if oil continues to rally, then well, I mean, we could see this pair actually drifting nicely to the downside, maybe even going all the way back to this little territory right here near the 1.2311 zone, and then of course, yeah, we'll have to just reevaluate everything again. So Eric, I hope that kind of helps. I don't know. So yeah, but I would say at this point in time, just be a little bit more careful, and given that oil really reversed nicely higher, we could see this pair actually reacting as well. GBP USD. So okay, this is a little bit of a messy chart here, I would say. So overall, yes, we are still trading below some of these downside lines. I mean, they're all kind of tentative, to be honest, but yeah, we'll keep those for now on the chart. But here at this point, and by the way, look at how well this 1.36, for example, 08 level provided resistance. I mean, I talked about this level previously, and I said that keep your eyes on this, because if it somehow, let's say, climbs higher but struggles to get back above this territory, then another slide could be possible. However, I don't like these scenarios here, because again, this is a bit way too difficult to predict, I would say. So I will take a neutral stand on this one for now. Maybe even initially I would be leaning a little bit more towards the cautiously bearish side, but yeah, I just want to be a little bit more on the safe side on this one. So that's why for me, for now, I will keep an eye on this one. If we do pop above this 1.3608 level, then I'll go for a larger correction to the upside. But if we stay somewhere around here, I'm neutral. But if it starts falling somewhere below this little territory right here, in between the 1.3412 and the 1.3425 levels, that's where a few more sellers could join in. EURUCAD very quickly on down before I run out of time, because I need to quickly rush through all this, guys. So basically, a push higher. As you can see, this level here, this 1.4442 zone, I talked about it before, and yep, we had a nice little recovery here. And by the way, it seems like we this is one of those, I mean, there's no such pattern, but if it were, then maybe this could be seen as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullish 6 pattern. And yeah, this is where, because basically all these the bodies of these candles did remain within the body of this bigger one. And yep, now we're seeing a nice little reversal here, and yesterday we formed that little doji. So basically, yeah, for me that's a bit of a bearish sign here. And I would say I will remain on the bearish side here, at least for now. And my next target could be this 1.4294 level here, marked by the lowest point of October. And finally, EURUSD. So reversal to the downside here, and pushing nicely lower. Yeah, for now, I'm gonna keep an eye on this downside line. Again, the same analysis remains, guys, so not much has changed. So if you're looking for some downside, yeah, a drop below the 1.1525 territory could do the trick for here from a few more sellers. For the upside, a break of this downside line is needed, at least. Until then, all this area here for me is I'm not touching that and just observing the price action. So guys, I'll just have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching, listening. Just a quick update as well. There's not going to be any videos tomorrow or Friday. So we'll resume on Monday, but I hope you have a fantastic remaining week, guys. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for your likes and comments, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.